Hello, I'm Emma Hammett, the founder and CEO of First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com, and the author of Burns, Falls and Emergency Calls, the ultimate guide to the prevention and treatment of childhood accidents. And that takes you all the way through from babies right through teenagers, right off to them growing up and leaving home. It's award-winning and it's an Amazon bestseller. Okay, so today I want to just go through 5 reasons why it's absolutely crucial that we equip our teenagers with the skills to help themselves and others if they're involved in an accident. Teenagers are our risk takers. They have that feeling that they're totally invincible, that nothing can touch them. And they also have a later development of the area in their brain that actually recognises and appreciates risk. And there is a recognised, I don't quite know how to put this, but when they're together en masse, they have an extra thrill-seeking capacity, and they do egg each other on, and they do get more excitement and more endorphin release from doing risky things together. And that may be at, a thrill park, an amusement side of things on a roller coaster or something, or it could be being daft at a festival or risking substances and that side of things. There is a recognised element in our teenagers that means that they have a greater endorphin release when they are doing slightly more risky things, or when they are doing things as a teenager compared with us doing the same things as an adult. They get a greater release of endorphins and excitement from doing it. So it is a thrill-seeking time. Really important that they know what to do if things go wrong, because the other thing is they're independent at that stage. They're not likely to have their parents with them. If things go wrong and they're equipped with the skills to recognise that something is not right and know when they need an adult to intervene, or when they've got the first aid skills that they can help whilst they're waiting for an ambulance or whatever, then it's amazing how quickly and efficiently they can sort things out if things do go wrong. A survey commissioned by the British Red Cross said that 532,000 young teenagers have been left to cope with a drunken friend who is sick, injured or unconscious over the last year. A quarter of young people have had to deal with asthma attacks. A third of teenagers have had to cope with someone who's had a head injury. A fifth of teenagers have had to help with someone who's been choking. And in the same survey, 44% of them panicked, 46% of them didn't know what to do, and actually the teenagers themselves were saying, please, 97% of them said, please give us the skills so that we can help and know what to do if something happens. So it's really important. The other thing is, we're one of the very few nations that doesn't have first aid as part of our driving test, which is bonkers. So we're equipping all these young people on the road. What a perfect time for us to be able to upskill them and give them this important information. There are a couple of decidedly rubbish questions that come up on the theory test, but actually no practical training around how they should help if they're involved in a road traffic accident, whether they are or whether they see someone else, a cyclist, a pedestrian, someone having an accident around the roads. So really important. Okay, if they overdo it on the alcohol, recovery position. So they need to know quickly how to recognise if somebody is breathing or not. If they're unconscious and breathing, how to quickly put them into the recovery position and why they're doing it. So they make sure they go over far enough so that any vomit is draining out and the airway remains clear. If people have been drinking, it's quite normal for them to go out to get some fresh air. If it is an autumn or winter or early spring party in this country, it will be cold outside. Alcohol reduces your ability to regulate your temperature. It is very easy for people for their body temperature to drop if they've been drinking too much and they're unconscious outside. Really important people know about this and recognise this. If it's safe to bring them in, they should bring them in and have them in the recovery position inside. If they are very, very cold, then moving someone who has hypothermia. Hypothermia can make their heart unstable. So you would have to do that so carefully. So it might be wiser to insulate them from the ground outside and cover them with something to keep them warm. Either way, recognise that alcohol, so the old style of a tot of rum to warm you up, rubbish! Alcohol actually reduces your ability to maintain your old body temperature. If someone's had a head injury and they've been drinking or taking something, they really must be seen by a health professional. So they do need to be referred through. It is far harder to recognise the early signs of head injuries if somebody is drunk. So important they are checked out. Drugs. If someone's taken some sort of drug and they are completely stoned out of it, they're unable to estimate risks and look after themselves safely. Someone needs to be looking out for them. So be careful with these things. You also have no idea what you're taking. So, again, be very, very careful. Someone I know at university had their drink spiked, and they were taken to hospital extremely ill, and it turned out to be a mixture of cocaine and bleach that somebody had managed to, and ketamine that somebody had managed to mix together and spike for this poor girl who had no idea whatsoever. So again, be aware of your drinks. Don't get someone else to buy a drink, or make sure you're keeping an eye on your drink, because this wasn't someone else buying it. It was just that some opportunist thought it a good idea. Fortunately, she was okay, but it's a wake-up call. Again, back to the drugs. Drugs often dehydrate you, so make sure that people aren't mixing drugs and alcohol, and that they are drinking lots of water if they are taking drugs. It's no use saying don't take them, but be careful, very, very careful. It is not a sensible thing to do, and we all know that. But if people are, they're not likely to know what they're taking. It could be a cocktail of all sorts of weird things that makes them do all sorts of bizarre things. People do die from taking drugs, and it can make them hallucinate, become paranoid, become violent. If you want to help someone who is completely out of it and they are potentially violent, what you should do is phone the emergency services, tell them you're worried, and keep an eye on them from a distance, and the emergency services will take over so that you're not putting yourself in danger. Asthma attacks, another thing that very often teenagers are involved in. Make sure they know what to do, so make sure people are always carrying their reliever inhaler. If someone's out and about and they haven't got their reliever inhaler, if at the very least they can have something in their wallet that shows they've got a prescription for one, then they are able to get an emergency one from the chemist if they can prove that it's theirs, that they have a prescription for it. Obviously not ideal. Please have your reliever inhaler with you, and keep everyone calm. Panic attacks are something else that happen. Please don't give them information about paper bags and things. If they had mistaken a panic attack for an asthma attack, could make things much worse. So panic attack, nice and calm. Remove the person from the thing that is panicking them and get them to just control their breathing. Breathe in and breathe out really slowly. If someone's fallen from a height or been hit from a car, they really do need to be treated very carefully. If they've been hit by anything travelling at speed, spinal injuries are possible. So again, your teenager should come on a first aid course or do one of our online teenage first aid courses so that they know how to help if somebody's involved in a road traffic accident, or if somebody's dived into too shallow water, or they have hit their head in some way, or been involved in something that could lead them to think they've got a spinal injury. First aid qualifications are hugely valued by UCAS. They are fantastic for babysitting. Lifeguards need them. Anyone doing a sports qualification and wanting to go into some sort of sports training, sports leadership needs some sort of a proper first aid qualification. And so not only is it an invaluable skill, it also gives them that little edge, showing responsibility and leadership and all the things that you do want to be demonstrating. You can also use it for your skill, for your Duke of Edinburgh, and it's fantastic for the expedition. We run regular practical first aid courses for teenagers, and we also have online courses specifically for teenagers, which can be used as part of their skill for Duke of Edinburgh. And if you combine that with a practical, then we can tick it straight off for you. Hope that's been useful. That's Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com. And please share it with any other parents of teenagers or teenagers that you think might find this useful. Many thanks.